Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shah, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shah, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shah. Kohaloyim Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakudas, double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone, rule well over the flock of Israel. Shalom and salutation to you, Akim Hibbles, the words of truth and sincerity. Shalom to all the Lord's elect, Akim Akwa, scattered Israelites and Israelites born in Zabarat. This video is edifying and Rapah Ma. And this video is concerning the Holy Spirit entering into the apostles after Yahweh Shah's ascension, and them being able to do different things and various things that they weren't able to do before while Yahweh Shah was still with them. And this is all prophetic, dealing with John 14, what Yahweh Shah said to them. He said, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, and you go into that word Paracletes, it means an aid and a succor, a help that comes and gives them divine strength to tackle their trials and tribulations, and it also gives them a deeper understanding of the gospel truth. That's the word parakletos, paraclete in the Greek. So that Holy Spirit came to them as an aid after Yahweh Shah ascended. It says, whom the Father will send in my name, in the name of Yahweh Shah, Baha Rakakwadash, and the Holy Spirit. It says, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you. Right? So there it is. Even the watch had to chime in with that. Now we're going to go through a few accords of when that Holy Spirit jumped on Peter. All right? Acts 2 and 14, right? We know Acts 2 is dealing with when all these people, basically the day of Pentecost, and it says the Holy Spirit comes right here. All right, the Holy Spirit came unto all these men that were Israelites from different areas, Parthians and Medes and Elamites, but Israelites that dwelt among those different lands, and they all began to prophesy in their own tongue. And then in verse 13 it says, others mocking said, these men are full of new wine. So they said they drunk. It says, verse 14, but the Spirit jumped on to Peter. It says, but Peter, standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice and said unto them, ye men of Judea, and all ye that dwell at Jerusalem, be this known unto you, and hearken unto my words. And so Peter basically took charge. That's the Spirit of the Lord, allowing Peter to jump up and, take charge of that situation, and let no misunderstanding come across. Whereas they could leave once the Holy Spirit came into these men and this miraculous event happened during the day of Pentecost, and then these men could leave with the account of, oh, they was just drunk. Yeah, everybody got drunk, brush it off, and that's something that a 2/3 would do. That's how they operate. It says, for these are not drunken as ye suppose, seeing it but the 3rd hour of the day. He says 9 o'clock in the morning. It's not, you see the NLT, 9 o'clock in the morning is much too early for that. It says, but this is which the prophet was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Lord power, I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. And and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And this is why the Spirit of prophecy amongst all these young men, coming up and rising up in Great Millstone, you got the Spirit of prophecy out here. We all know what the MOTB is, and we encourage brothers to continue to make prophecy videos concerning the end times, World War III, NATO and the EU, Daniel's 2, Daniel 7, Daniel's 8, right? Revelations, Revelation. Go into these words, go into these meanings, go into these prophecies concerning these end times, time of Jacob's trouble, right? It says, and on my servants and on my handmaids I will pour out in those days my Spirit, and they shall prophesy. So the Spirit of prophecy is the Holy Spirit working with, that's the Spirit of the Lord that was the Comforter being sent in these times, man, to show us things that wasn't yet, right? When you go into the NLT, it tells you about that. It says, verse 29, and I have told you before it come to pass. It's all prophecy. It says that when it is come to pass, you might believe. NLT says before they happen, so that when they do happen, you will believe. So we contain all these words that we bring out contains prophecy in it. That's the difference, man. You know, it contains prophecy, it contains judgment, it contains statutes as well. But the doctrine embodies prophecy, and embodies laws and principles, and embodies codes, morals, and ethics, and embodies obedience, it embodies structure, it embodies wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the times and seasons. That's dealing with prophecy, things that are to come. And that's why Peter was able to stand up, because that paraclete, all right, that Holy Spirit was able to pour out into him, and he was able to be have that divine strength to stand up and speak like, nah, I ain't gonna let this situation pass. Y'all talking about they drunk. Acts 4:13 says, now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, and that's the Holy Spirit gives you that boldness in this truth, walking boldly to the throne. Right? The Lord said He gonna minister this throne, He gonna minister an entrance to the kingdom of heaven for you. Everything's being ministered like your royalty, like coming to America. That entrance is being laid out for you. Get out the way, the elect. You know, my elect are coming through, just like a good shepherd does. Gets everything out the way for his sheep to walk through. That's what's happening for the elect. It says, now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men. And if I may, that's what how they reference the apostles of Great Millstone. They're going to say they're unlearned and ignorant. What school did you go to? Where did you learn this? What theology school? What did you major in? What was your exegesis? They didn't have any exegesis. They didn't write down theories. But what the Lord did was give them boldness and authority from on high, man. The Holy Spirit working through them to give them that boldness. So they was Peter and John, and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men. They marveled. Like, wow. So they marveled, and they took knowledge with them, of them, and they took knowledge of them, and that they had been with Yahushua. Why? Because Yahushua spoke like this. Yahushua had an authoritative tone. We didn't see what school or what he learned from, but he had this wisdom he was teaching at 12 years old in the synagogues, man. Yahushua always had it in him. That was the spirit of Yahushua that helps us through. And now this Holy Spirit helps us through. It's all enjoined. You know, it's joined together with Yahushua's spirit to join us back to Him. And now they can see the representation of Yahushua all over again. They marvel. Don't marvel at the fact that they marvel at us on them street corners, man. They said, man, this has a spiritual overtone to it that you just can't teach a man to get up and do this. You can't teach this in the schools. That boldness to stand up on them corners and them highways and them byways and teach this. You can't teach that, to lift up your voice and cry aloud and spare none. You can't teach that. The average man is going to quiet down when he gets to adversity. But what the Holy Spirit is doing, giving us that divine strength to keep going. Let's see if there's any more to this. Verse 19, it says, but Peter and John answered and said unto them, whether it be right in the sight of Yahweh to hearken unto you more than unto Yahweh, judge ye. And I like how the NLT worded. Do you think that Yahweh wants us to obey you rather than Him? And that's the Holy Spirit that give you that divine strength. And you talking to men of authority. They not just talking to their partners on the block, man. They talking to authoritative men of Israel in Jerusalem. It says, for we cannot but speak the things which we have been seen and heard. And remember, they got beat and struck for this. The prophets got jailed and imprisoned for these things, sawn asunder. You read about them, killed for the boldness and that the Holy Spirit gave them, that divine strength in these end times, man. In this divine strength and this deeper understanding of the gospel truth is coming unto us, because we in the stead of those prophets now. We in the stead of those men now. This is Acts 5:15. It says, in so much that they think in so much that they brought forth the sick into the streets and laid them on beds and couches, that at the least the shadow of Peter passing by overshadowed some of them. There came also a multitude out of the cities round about unto Jerusalem, bringing sick folks, and them which were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed, every one. Why did they start doing this, man? Because the Holy Spirit was working through Peter and John at these times, and so much that they wanted to heal all the sick, all the unclean spirits out of their loved ones. And they began to heal the sick, heal the crippled. And then once the leaders saw it, they got fired up, man. It says here in the NLT, the high priest and his officials, who were Sadducees, were filled with jealousy. And this is what happens. Y'all can come over and over and over about the Apostle Great Millstone being this way, being that way. One thing for sure, they filled with the Holy Spirit. And two things for sure is that the rest, when they see it, they become jealous, just like the wicked Sadducees are old, man. The wicked high priests and officials are old. They can't stop that jealousy. Acts 9:39. Then Peter arose and went with him. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the windows stood by him weeping. Salaki, and all the widows stood by him weeping, and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them. Right, you got a situation of coats and garments that this woman Dorcas, also known as Tabitha, started making. She took care of many people. It says, but Peter put them all forth and kneeled down and prayed, and turning him to the body said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up, and he gave her his hand and lifted her up. And when he called the saints and widows, presented her alive, and it was known throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord. And so that Holy Spirit also allowed Peter to do this type of miraculous work, which is to, resurrect, bring somebody back to life. You see, it was all about the Holy Spirit moving through the Lord's disciples. The Lord said, I'm going to send you a comforter. You won't be comfortless. Even though I'm gone, you will still be comforted. Acts 10:44, even as Salaki, while Peter yet spake these words, the Holy Spirit fell on all them which heard the word. So while Peter's speaking, the Spirit just went out to those who were listening. So that's how important it is just to be in the vicinity of those who had the Holy Spirit and to listen to their words, so that the Holy Spirit could jump onto you for being a hearer. It says, and they which of the circumcision which believed were astonished, and as many as came with Peter, because that on the Gentiles also was poured out the gifts of the Holy Spirit. You see the gifts of the Holy Spirit working with those who believed, who were considered Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners. Those of Jerusalem felt that they had no place in this divinity, in this knowledge. But they did, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushua saw it fit by sending Harakakadash to them. So this is how serious it is. It says, for they heard them speak with tongues and magnify Yahweh, and then answered Peter, can any man forbid water that these should not be baptized, which have received the Holy Spirit as well as we? And he commanded them to be baptized in the name of the Lord. Then prayed they him to tarry certain days. You see, so it's all important. It's all to the magnitude of the elect. It's all for the elect's sake, that the Holy Spirit be intertwined, that the Holy Spirit jump on us. And just from hearing the words, the Holy Spirit is working with you, and you got to believe that divine strength is coming from that spirit, that divine energy, that understanding, that wisdom and knowledge is coming. The ability to grasp this, mentally grasp what you are hearing, is coming from that divine Holy Spirit sent a long time ago when Yahushua ascended, after he ascended. And with that, I brought this out of this video. Is edifying. Until next time, Shalom.